But Drew, what was Pistol Opera about, if such a thing is possible to describe?
Yeah. Pistol Opera. And despite Suzuki's assertion that the ending of Branded to Kill was ambiguous as to the fate of Hanada, and that he didn't get to be number one, that being the point of the film apparently, a loose follow-up was made in 2001's Pistol Opera, in which Hanada, played now by Mikijiro Hira, though Suzuki had wanted Joe Shishido to reprise his role, is now a has-been, with the honorary ranking of number 0, reflecting his former status as number 1. Hanada, though, is mostly irrelevant, as Pistol Opera is about a current assassin, Mikiko Isumi's Miyuki Minazuku, number 3 Stray Cat. Like Hanada, her purported profession seems to matter little, as the membership of the Guild of Assassins seems to spend most of its time attempting to kill one another, which, well, seems a poor use of resources at best. To this end, Miyuki is approached by Soyuka Oyekeyo, her agent, with a contract to kill number 100 Eyes. There then follows a turgid 2-hour experience of watching a bunch of barely connected things happening to people I care nothing about, with a misdirect about number 1's true identity copied directly from Branded to Kill. Listen, I try to be as open as I can to different types of films. I want to experience new things in film. I try hard not to be dismissive, but I also know, from prior multiple experiences, that I really dislike avant-garde cinema, and I hate Pistol Opera so much. It's garbage, and I struggle to find anything positive to say about it. Seijun Suzuki said that he didn't care about story, that all that mattered was that the film was entertaining. Now, maybe he was working with a definition of entertainment markedly different to mine, but he's, 0 for 2 for me right now. In interviews, the director stated that he wanted to surprise the audience with his films. And I would say he's done that here. I certainly wasn't expecting a score containing a steel drum band, nor a European guy wearing a leather duster and seemingly not hugely familiar with either Japanese nor, for whatever reason that it's there, English, as one of the rival assassins. Presumably there is a reason for the inclusion of several lines of dialogue in very stilted English for a number of characters, but, well, I certainly don't care what it is. There are some visuals, both settings and compositions, that I appreciate a good deal, or would if they were in more or less any other film, or in service of anything at all. And I acknowledge that his choices are deliberate, that rather than being incapable or ill-equipped, Suzuki had a definite vision, albeit double vision, as Pistol Opera is in so many ways just a colour retake of Branded to Kill. I just wish it was a vision that I could get on board with in any way at all. It's willfully weird and impenetrable, and once or twice creepy and inappropriate, and it's really, really not for me.
Yeah, I actually completely agree on this one. This did nothing for me. I can't bring myself to hate it, to be honest. It didn't hit quite those boxes, but certainly it was something that completely bounced off me. And as you say, clearly there's some sort of driving ideas behind these things. I mean, also this is a much more, stagey film than Branded to Kill was.
Literally in places.
Yeah, certainly very literally towards the end of it. And clearly there's some rationale behind that, but I just, by that point, didn't care. I don't know if it's because I did find that in Branded to Kill, Joe Shishido does have a fair amount of charisma for whatever reason, the way he's chewing up the scenery, and it just did not translate into the same characters in Pistol Opera. I didn't find anyone here that I could even remotely latch onto to care about in the slightest. The way that Stray Cat would occasionally just lapse into making movements like a cat, because that's what assassins do, was just quite annoying. And I found most of the characters in this quite annoying, and therefore I found most of the film quite annoying. So when it tries to ask for a little bit of leeway in doing something a bit more avant-garde, I just was not being carried along for the ride, and I just didn't really like anything that it was doing. I agree again. Lots of, certainly a few very nice compositions, some nice shots, but it's all in service of nonsense, and I didn't get anything at all out of Pistol Opera, which is a little bit strange because it is not all that far away in terms of what it's trying to do and what it actually does from Branded to Kill. And I wonder if it's just because I was watching them one after the other. And had I watched this with a gap of 34 years or whatever in between them, then maybe I'd have been a bit more appreciative of kind of revisiting these kind of tropes and these kind of methods. But ultimately, no thank you. Certainly watching them one after the other was not doing it any favours at all, and I did not like it one bit. So, yes.
Yeah, the proximity may be a thing because I'm not joking. It's basically the same film again, but in colour. The note me about Charisma, I'm not sure, but I quite like the lead in Pistol Opera, and it's much like I'd be interested to see her in something that wasn't this.
Yes.
And Joe Shishido's overacting actually bothered me. I didn't like him at all. Rather than finding him entertaining or charismatic, I just thought he was bad.
Right.
But yeah, and like you mentioned the cat thing there. I worked that out afterwards. I was like, because I read a review of this and it was like, she's doing like literal cat. Like, it's like, was that what that was supposed to be? I thought she was just an idiot because I've seen cats. They don't do that. So honestly, I didn't make the connection here because, well, I was really struggling to watch this, but I didn't realise that's what you're doing because I've seen cats. Cats don't do these things. What is she doing? I was distracted by her, like, apparently she got bored of the conversation and so just says eeny, meeny, miny, mo for reasons.
Yeah, cats definitely don't do that. I've never seen a cat start doing eeny, meeny, mo. Maybe there's a cat equivalent, I don't know.
Yeah, like, there aren't any characters in this. There's nobody likeable, but like that creepy little child that appears at some point.
Yeah.
Who I was certain the whole thing was actually going to turn into being her younger self or something.
Yeah.
But no, was just there. Then to be uncomfortably naked at one point.
Yeah, that was weird. Really
and then
weird.
offer sexual favours to her.
Yeah.
That was creepy. I did not care for that. Why was this adolescent child offering to masturbate the main character? No. Take that out of the film, please. I don't want to see that. That's not right.
Which broadly you could say to the entire film, really.
Yeah. So again, like I can appreciate this. Like, it's not like it's a badly made film. It's not. He's a bad filmmaker. It's clearly he wanted to make a particular thing, made the particular thing. It's just that the particular thing he's made I find terrible and boring and creepy.
Yes. Yeah. Safe to say, I'm now no longer on the list of going to be catching up with other Seiji and Suzuki works. So let us know if there's anything there that's particularly noteworthy that perhaps it should be that is not quite so nuts as Pistol Opera.
Yeah, this is just from the clips they showed you in those interviews that I watched, Scott, that I mentioned. There's maybe one film of his that I might want to check out just because it looked visually interesting, which is a film from maybe the year before Branded to Kill, maybe two, called Tokyo Drifter, which is another particularly famous one, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm quite reticent now, having experienced these two, but that at least looked visually interesting. It's a colour film rather than a black and white one, for like some very striking, pure, highly saturated, pure red backgrounds. In fact, I think it's a Technicolor film, which honestly, I don't really like the way Technicolor looks, so that may not be interesting. It looked interesting at least.
Yeah.
But as for anything else, I think it's very, very unlikely I would ever want to see his stuff again.
Yeah, so maybe we'll get to that, but honestly, probably I won't.